I'm Chase Rolfson with Rubline Marketing.
This is Jeff Lindsay.
This is Michael Pitt.
Hey everybody, it's John Dudley from Knock on TV.
Hey guys, this is Jared Scheffler from Whitetail Adrenaline.
Hi, I'm Taylor Drury from Drury Outdoors.
Hey, this is Nick Munt from Bone Collector.
Hey, this is Melissa Buckman.
Working Class Bowhunter.
Working Class Bowhunter.
Working Class Bowhunter Podcast.
Working Class Bowhunter Podcast.
Working Class Bowhunter.
Working Class Bowhunter.
Working Class Bowhunter.
You're listening to the Working Class Bowhunter. That's right, this is the podcast for Billy Joe Lunchbucket, the working man, just like me and you. My name's Travis TBone Turner from the Bone Collector. Thank you for tuning in.
Nobody pushes the envelope like Working Class Bowhunter.
It's really, really not that good.
Working Class. Working Class.
Working Class Bowhunter.
This is episode number 200 of the Working Class Bowhunter podcast. Mm-hmm. That's right here at 1600 Buck Slayer Place in the most comfortable Sherrard, Illinois. 200 episodes. Can you believe it?
Shit.
In the studio is Kurt.
Hey, y'all. How's it going?
Eric.
Howdy.
It's been an awesome journey, you guys. Seriously, and we're so glad to have you here.
Can't believe it's been 200 episodes.
200.
Can you believe that?
We're here, and we seriously want to thank every single one of you guys for sticking it out with us. 200 episodes, and we just wish
we could not be here without all of our partnerships.
We want 200 more. We definitely do. We're starting off with elite archery. The engineers have been hard at work making the best bows in the industry, some of the most comfortable to shoot. Go to elitearchery.com, find your local dealer, and check out the Emerge. Mm-hmm. We shot it. Mm-hmm. We love it.
Love it.
The new flagship bow, the Ritual. It's the one that your significant other might shoot.
Right.
They love it as well. Kurt, what's next? Tell me all about it.
We got Scent Crusher up next. Scent off, game on. We have not only used the gear bag and the scent closet, but here in the studio, because Steve tends to not shower and he fucking smells, we use the room clean.
Sorry.
And
guys.
We love that shit. Good stuff.
You also can't forget about HHA Sports. Single Pin Nation in the Wisconsin Cheese State. Go check out HHAsports.com. Also, check out the Virtus Rest.
Badass.
You guys know 2.2% of all the proceeds go to the veterans charities. Single Pin Nation. I freaking love my HHA
What
sites.
are you, non-American?
Right? And if you don't like cheese, I don't know, you can still shoot it, so what's wrong with you anyway?
This podcast is also brought to you by Smith's Custom Meats. Goes good with some cheese. Love that shit.
You know it's in delightful Vial, Illinois.
He needs some milk.
Take it right off of 67, down a couple hollers. Finest processor in Western Illinois. We know you love the meatloaf, guys. Seriously.
So fucking
Kurt,
good.
can you pour me a glass of wine, would you?
Absolutely. Let me just get into this Manta Cooler right here. These things are badass. I would do just about anything, maybe even borderline sketchy shit for a Manta Cooler.
It's some serious stuff.
Without these Manta Coolers, we couldn't keep these wine bottles chilled just the way we like them. Go to Manta Coolers and find the style you want, the color you want. 75 quart to the 18 quart bucket cooler seat.
That
Pretty
18
damn
quart bucket seat,
comfy.
mine's teal, has that padded seat on top.
Good shit.
Kurt's wife tried stealing it from me, and I was like,
Beat her ass.
Not happening. Not happening at all. And you cannot forget about Rattler Grips. Handsome Rob. He knows what's going on. Mm-hmm. Go to Rattler Grips' Facebook page. Tell him, hey, I heard the Working Class Bowhunter podcast, and I'd love to give you some money for that grip. Just want to have it. Gotta have it.
And we can't forget about Ethics Archery also. Big supporter of the show, changing the game in arrow inserts. We've been using these spinning inserts for a while and absolutely love them.
Love them. All right, well, it's episode 200.
200.
Let's get after it. It's happening right now. All joking aside, here are your hosts of the Working Class Bowhunter podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing first, sporting a medium t-shirt, looking a little tight thanks to that bush light, a man of very few words, but successful when it comes to Iowa Pope and Young Bucks, Eric Common.
Now we have the man, the myth, the legend, killing above average deer, but drinking below average beer, keeping Steve in line while getting podcasts out on time. Here he is, Kurt Geyer.
record of 0-0 on Pope and Young Bucks, but 199-1 on Fat Ass Podcast. The round man with the square deals, Steven Bowler.
You suck! Wrestling sucks! What are you, 9?
Who the hell was that?
I have no idea. We had some weird stuff coming through the speakers here, but hey, this is episode 200 of the Working Class Bowhunter podcast. We are here at 1600 Buckslayer Place, the beautiful Buckatorium, wonderful Sherrard, Illinois. I am Steve. In the studio is Kurt.
Hi, the real me.
The real you, Eric.
What's up?
You are looking a little tight in that medium shirt. And Douglas.
How's it going?
What's up, man?
Oh, nothing. Did our intern bring some people in to do our intro for us?
I don't know, but if I found out there was chicks sitting in my seat and I didn't know about it, I am gonna be pretty upset.
Anyway, dude, this is episode 200 of the Working Class Bowhunter.
You know why this is really great? Because now you have to get a Working Class Bowhunter tattoo.
Oh yeah, I'm already going to. That's a given.
I believe a few episodes back you said if we make it 2 years or 200 episodes, you would get a tattoo.
We're going on 3
I think
years.
we all need to go and get them.
Yeah, we should.
It's that time, boys. It's that time.
Yep.
Hoss beat us to it. He's already got the first Working Class. But, well, I don't know. Maybe he doesn't. Wouldn't that be weird?
Just some silent listener.
Yeah, just like some guy that
all
just
tatted.
walks up to us at Iowa Deer Classic, lifts up his sleeve, and he's got portraits of us and just walks away.
He's got a Working Class Bowhunter face tattoo.
Dude, that's probably how NASCAR drivers feel sometimes.
But no, definitely 200 episodes. We're just going to do a little reminiscing here before we cut to the actual show. I can't really believe we've done 200. It doesn't really seem like it. But yeah. I do notice that it is 200 episodes when someone's like, hey, remember on episode 100 when you guys were talking about this? And I'm like, nah, sure don't.
Don't remember that.
I don't remember what we talked about on episode 100.
What now?
Come again?
It took 199 episodes. I finally got a new seat.
Yeah, we moved the studio around. Things are changing here. We're moving on up.
Yeah,
it seems like yesterday we just talked about starting this,
Yeah, that was wild. I remember we went to a 3D shoot. So if you guys, I'll make it a real brief story about how this whole podcast started, just in case you got some new listeners. I had a podcast. I found out Kurt through Twitter via our good buddy Jordan Johnson through Whisperwood. Through that, I saw that he had tattoos and he killed deer, and I was like, man, that's a cool guy. I want to hang out with him. Followed him.
So creepy.
He said something about he wanted to do a hunting podcast. I'm like, I'm into hunting, and I do a podcast. Invited Kurt over.
This was technically before everybody had a hunting podcast.
Yeah, this is before it. So then we ended up talking about a project, and it took I don't know, I think 6 months of us just kind of getting together. And
It took 1 full month of you texting me every day in November saying, hey, are you serious about this? You want to start it? I'm like, dude, I'm hunting. I'm not doing anything after.
Don't talk to me right now.
Until November's over, I'm not doing anything. So, but no, it's kind of crazy. And it just snowpiled. We went from podcasting in this same room in office chairs and lawn chairs, me facing the wall at my desk and having to turn around to talk to you guys. The most awkward shit ever.
And we used to write the show note, and actually I don't know if they're in that window, but the window behind where
there's still a show. See, Eric, since
I'll
you're on that side,
yeah, lift that up. This is nice little reminiscing.
There might be show notes on the window. We used to take dry erase markers and write on the window. What episode?
Oh yeah, what is
37?
Episode 37 still on the window.
What it was? Smith's season update, scent control,
and then SM question marks.
Dude, that was
I don't know what that is. That's funny though. Episode 37 still on the window.
So yeah, that was cool. And then this whole podcast started with me and Kurt.
It's pretty trashy. That's still on the window.
Well, it's even trashier when you find out how it started. And I ended up getting a 30 pack of Spotted Cow, and it came over to Kurt's garage, and we wanted to talk
Spotted
about
Cow
it.
beer from Wisconsin. If you're anywhere in the Midwest, you know how delicious that stuff is.
Oh yeah, and we crushed all of them. And then
so good.
I'm pretty sure we started that, and we knew what we wanted to do. We did a 3D shoot and with Eric, and then we ended up going to Eric's house. So somewhere, because Eric was like, "Hey, dude, me and you knew we wanted to ask him to do it, but it was like, hey, let's just go have some drinks." So we go to your garage, and plus you had to get your taillight fixed on your old Jeep.
Oh fuck, that was that long ago.
Yeah, we go to Eric's.
That was a gnarly night.
Yeah, we get that taillight fixed, and Eric's like, yeah, but I can't get too drunk because, I gotta be up at like 2 a.m.
Steve's stretching this story out way
I know,
too long.
I'm just getting to the meat and taters. He's like, I gotta be up at 2 a.m. Anyway, we get plastered drunk, asking me wants to do it, and then there is a picture of all three of us that we took that night at Alan Jerry's in Eldridge, Iowa.
Yep.
And that was like
that photo.
We got to find that.
I don't think anyone does.
Who took it?
It's a lost files. It doesn't matter.
It's lost. But anyway, there's a
we went
history.
from I don't know how long ago we built an actual studio table, and then we're like, cool, we actually have a studio table to have guests in studio, and then
that's when it actually became like a studio. It seemed like
for sure. And then we had a realization like this was only like a few months ago now, before hunting season. We're like, man, the studio's cool. Like there's stuff all over the walls. We had like memorabilia from stuff and signed things to us all over the walls, and it was neat. But we're like, well, we really need to revamp it, so we rebuilt it from the ground up for the most part, and it's actually a studio now, which feels good. But I don't know, it's just kind of crazy how things work. Super thankful for all the people we've met along the way. Everyone that actually listens. It still blows my mind that people listen to this podcast,
and they enjoy it.
I don't know why, but it's super thankful for that. And I don't know, just kind of excited for the future, because right now we got a lot of irons in the fire. We got 2 big announcements that we can't let loose yet. One announcement's been in the works for a while. We just kind of went quiet on it, but things are in the works. We got a lot of stuff planned, and we're just trying to evolve always. Not necessarily compete, but evolve in our own way, because to be honest, we don't really give a shit what anyone else is doing. People ask us, like, we don't listen to other hunting podcasts. We're friends with a couple of them.
Nope.
But we just do our own thing. We're just having fun, and as soon as it's not fun anymore, then there won't be a podcast anymore. But as of right now, I see us going 200 more episodes. No problem.
Sorry, guys, I'm not having fun anymore.
Later. Hey, Doug.
I'm having fun.
Doug's been waiting. Doug's like, I've been waiting for Eric to step down so I can take his.
So he can be the only
position.
Iowa boy. Hey, here's a big announcement that I might make. Team Iowa might be getting a fat boy.
That's what I heard.
The round man with the square deals might be moving. I might be moving to Iowa. I lived in Iowa for about a year and a half.
I don't know if we even want you.
I don't know.
True.
I'm telling you what, man.
Then it's gonna be 3-1.
So I have to fire you, and Mark's gonna have to step in full time, and then Trevor Schmidt's gonna have to get in here too.
Yeah, and then they're all just gonna start moving to Iowa. So it's gonna be like, all right,
Eric,
we'll start.
Are you even scared? I ain't worried about it.
I'm not worried about that at all. But
yeah, no, I might just looking for houses, and it's like, dude, I want to stay in Illinois because this is my home. I love it to death, but one gripe that we've always had is Iowa's public land versus Illinois' public land. The way that Iowa sets up stuff, we're so close to that state that you go back and listen to previous episodes, but there's the announcement. So maybe in 200 episodes, I might have my own little 40 acres in Iowa. Who knows? I might stay. I want to stay in Illinois, but.
Cool. Well, I'm super thankful for this podcast.
I just wanted to throw it out there.
I'm just like over here bored with our own podcast.
I know.
No, man, really, I think we've kind of beat this dead horse. Super thankful. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. If you listen to all 200, man, thank you so much. I don't really know what else to say to you, but I don't know. I wish I could high five everyone and go hunting and hang out with everyone that's listened to our podcast like that. That'd
be one wild ass season.
It's so crazy to think about. It's so crazy.
Go on the road.
But anyway, enough talking about us. We're gonna just hustle out the next 200 and see how fast we can sink this ship. And on to our guest. Super thankful for this guy. You've heard him on our podcast before. He's in every intro. One of the best guys in the hunting industry, without a doubt. He doesn't need an introduction. But I just hope you guys enjoyed this. Let us know what you think. And if you do, we're at 200 episodes. I can't even believe it. Just go give us a rating if you're enjoying the show. If you haven't done already, subscribe and maybe invite some hunting buddies. Let's grow this together as a family and be on our pro staff. That is the Bowhunters, Working Class Bowhunters Union.
Right on. Well, hey, before we get into the guests too, I want to give a special shout out. The vet shout out this week. Just want to shout out every vet that we've ever had on the show, and that every vet that we've shouted out. Everybody that's reached out to us and told us, that it blows my mind that a lot of vets will reach out to us and be like, man, it's the shit what you guys do for us, and to us, we're not doing enough. I mean, we're just giving a shout out but we want to do more. But I want to thank every service member that we've ever thanked, again, for their service to this country. Again, we couldn't do this podcast without you guys. We love our vets. We would do anything for them. If you guys have any ideas of what we could do better in the next 200 episodes, let us know. Go to workingclassbowhunter.com. Find us on social media. Dude, reach out to us. We are going to see it. Also, if you do have a vet shout-out, on the Working Class Bowhunter website, there is a tab brought to you by Heroes Hunting, where if you go to it, select the branch, we'll do a shout-out. That email is going to go straight to me. Doesn't go to Kurt. This is Steve's little project. I finally get my training wheels off, so check that out. And, man, thank you to all the vets. So,
thanks, guys. Hope you enjoy episode 200. We love you.
All right, on the phone with us right now, dude, this is episode 200, so we got to do it big and special, and this is one of the guys that helped us get to where we are. We have so much love and respect for this guy. Can't believe he's doing a third episode. Travis TBone Turner. TBone, what's going on, buddy?
Man, how are you guys doing?
I'll tell you what, man, I couldn't do any better if you paid me.
I hear you, man. No, I'm doing good. I'm pretty good. I guess I should go ahead and apologize if I hawk up a loogie while we're on here. I've been just getting over the flu, so I'm on the back side of that. But if I hawk up a loogie, I'll go ahead and apologize before that happens.
You'll just fit right in with our whole crew if that happens.
Yeah, exactly.
But, man, thanks again for coming on. It's been awesome, and it was awesome running into you at ATA and getting to chit-chat with you for a bit. So just before we get into the meat and taters, just thanks for everything you've done for us, and you've earned your way into a permanent role in our intro of the podcast.
Oh, man, that's awesome. Hey, and congratulations to you guys. I can't believe 200 episodes, and I can remember way back when I knew that you guys had something special, and y'all got a good chemistry, and I'm so glad that y'all are doing so well and just climbing the ladder and just growing like crazy. So just keep up the good work.
Well, I appreciate that. Speaking of that, what did you honestly think before you did our show for the first time? I think it was like episode. It was before episode 20.
Well, he blew us off the first time, so we knew what he really thought, and then he actually felt bad because he's such a nice guy.
No, actually, that's something that, between me, Michael, and Nick, we've, as long as we've been doing this, even before Bone Collector, we sometimes it might be hard to lasso us or what have you, but we don't ever turn down, whether it be just a morning radio show, podcast. We do all media. I mean, sometimes we might not be able to do it at the drop of a hat, and may take a little scheduling, but we don't turn anything down. We don't tell no to anybody, because we all come from humble beginnings, and we realize how important it is, and spreading the brotherhood, the brotherly love, I guess you could say. So no, we don't turn down any of those.
And that's super cool, because I know we talked about this a little bit at ATA show, and you told me that there, and I was like, man, that's got to be so difficult to do all those, fulfill all those requests, and then still carry on a family life and travel as much as you guys do, and it's such a workload for you guys, and that just says a lot about what type of people you are. So I think a lot of people can appreciate that.
Yeah, well, and it does. I mean, it does take a lot of time, but at the end of the day, I could be dipping septic tanks for a living. I could be baling hay, roofing houses, and to get to chit-chat with folks like yourself and just to talk about hunting and, talk about and celebrate the outdoor lifestyle, day in, day out, and, working on bows and visiting people and working on, events, and then plus get to hunting. So the whole thing, you got to do a job and make a living doing something. You might as well do something you love. So it's not that hard to do once you got a passion and a love for what you're doing.
Well, man, that's awesome, and it's really great that you do get to do what you do and work with like absolute superstars like Michael. Like how is he doing?
Michael's doing good, actually. We're getting together. Nick just flew in today, and we're all getting together tomorrow. We got photo shoots all day, and we're doing interviews for new shows. So I'll be with them two knuckleheads all day tomorrow.
So you're doing that photo shoot for What It Do Archery then?
Yep, we're doing a photo shoot for What It Do Archery. Playgirl, actually, camo edition.
Ooh.
So,
I'll tell you what, man, that mustache is probably the best mustache in the hunting industry right now. Michael's one of my favorite guys.
Oh, yeah, we have not seen Michael Pitts' top lip in years. I mean, yeah, actually, we hadn't even seen his top row of teeth. It just covers them all up.
His cookie duster is just right in the way there, huh?
That's right.
So what's new with you, Bone?
Just more of the same, actually, just getting geared up. We're just finishing up deer season and trade show season like we've seen you guys at ATA. Went to SHOT Show. I think I picked up the flu there, so I've been working on the flu for the last 4 or 5 days. Getting ready for NWTF next week. Got a lot of Whitetails Unlimited banquets that I'll be doing this spring. I think we're going on a bear hunt. We'll definitely be doing some turkey hunting. I can't wait for bow fishing. Warmer weather and bow fishing. I'm so ready to impale some scales. I'm ready.
So how was your ATA and SHOT Show? What stood out to you, and what was the big takeaways from those two shows if you had to pick just a few things?
Well, it's a good problem to have, but the ATA show, we don't get to really, we're going from booth to booth and visiting with sponsors. We have meetings, and then when we're not, we're, basically just doing appearances in booths. So we don't get a chance, and I hate to complain, but that's one thing that I wish, because I love the ATA show so much. I wished I could not be me and, just kind of one day just go through every aisle, because I'm such a archery guru. I just love to see all the new products, even the small mom and pop businesses, and see all the new gadgets that's coming out and all the innovations from all the big companies. I wish I could just walk the aisles and talk to the owners of the companies and see all the new innovations, but unfortunately I don't get to. So usually what I do every year is when I get back on social media, I ask whoever went to the show, good, bad, or otherwise, or if it's a partner of ours or not, just, by all means, just tell me what you've seen, what you like, what's the new, latest, and greatest, and then, luckily, with the internet, you can go back and check out all the new products and stuff. But it was a busy show for us. ATA is always busier than SHOT Show, and ATA was a good show. I think the dealers were writing orders. I don't think there was as many people there this year. I think attendance was down, but I think business was up. So maybe ATA, I believe, may have done a pretty good job of keeping, just people that are true business riders that are in there. So I hope that's the way it went. And in SHOT Show, we've got a lot of military. There's a lot of police and tactical. So we kind of cover most all of our bases at ATA, so we got a little more time to visit with things and visit booths and test things and visit with people a little bit better at the SHOT Show.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a good point. I guess I never put myself in that perspective for you on not getting to check out all the equipment and stuff at ATA because you're so busy doing that. One question I had for you, I know you probably saw a lot of it, maybe at the show, the vibe, and then on the internet when you got home, that new Garmin sight. And I kind of just wanted to get your opinion on it. Is that a good thing for archery, or is it a bad thing or necessarily more for bow hunting? Is it a good or a bad thing, do you think?
Well, if it's helping you gain confidence and, it's judging the yardage for you. I haven't played with it, so I can't give it a full review, but it's very intriguing and very innovative for sure. The technology is amazing that they can do that. There has been laser rangefinders on a bow in the past, but it was always real big and real gaudy. This thing right here seems to be pretty slick from what I've seen of it. So it's intriguing as far as that goes. Now, if you throw the budget in there, it's like, whoa, that's going to be a hard one to sell to mama.
Yeah, $1,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
I think it's around somewhere between $750 and $1,000, so that's going to be a hard one to do. I don't want folks to think that they got to have it, but for the guy that is Mr. Gadget, I think it would serve him well. It's not, you don't want to talk bad about a product, but it's not too hard just to take your old Bushnell $150 rangefinder, zip a few trees, and know that, your Hoyt bow's shooting fast enough to where that whatever you're shooting at, you're going to be within an inch or two high or low. So confidence is key. So nothing's going to beat the building confidence, shooting in the yard, different angles, the telemetry, bending at the waist. There's nothing that's going to beat good, perfect practice. But for the guy who wants the utmost confidence in the latest and greatest gadget, man, it's nice to know that these companies are pouring their technologies into things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we we've had one of our good buddies, Darren Christianberry, on a couple times, and he always talks about the ability to judge distance and how he thinks that's kind of going the way about like target shooting. And we're big fans of being able to judge distance, and I think that's a really beneficial thing for hunting. I think that this Garmin, my personal opinion, I think that kind of it takes away from that a little bit. Because I think it is a good skill to have because
it's kind of a handicap on bow hunting of traditional bow hunting skills in a way. Is that fair to say?
Yeah,
maybe not.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Meaning, my background is competitive archery, where we had to, 3D archery, where you had to judge distance, and I was pretty decent at it, because I come from so far back. I'm showing my age that before we had laser rangefinders, I used to take a basketball and throw it in the woods, and I would practice judging distance to the basketball and then walk it off. And I'd have to walk the yardage off before. This was long before laser rangefinders. So that's how, we would hone our skills way back in the early 90s. So once laser rangefinder came out, I think that's when I got all my weight on. It's because I wasn't walking.
Hey, I didn't want to ask, but
yeah,
just trying to put
that laser rangefinder is why I'm fat. I guarantee you.
So, Bone, you're telling us to throw Steve's rangefinder away and throw a basketball and watch him walk all day. So that'll be the next thing we do when we all shoot together.
Yep, that's I used to do it. I promise you. My mom and dad used to think I was crazy, but I'd take it out there in the field and in the woods and throw it and judge the distance to a basketball. I mean, I couldn't afford to have 20 or 30 different targets out in the yard and judge distances, so that's what I had to do, is take a basketball and I judge distance and walk it off, and got pretty good at it. I mean, you learn to judge, and it serves you well, and it's almost like it's nice to have the laser rangefinder, but it's always good to know that you know how to do it. It's more than just like saying, hey, that's 40-something yards. You got to develop a system, counting off 10 at a time. Everybody's got something different, or you judge halfway and then double the number, and then judge from the target back to you. Imagine you got a 20-yard pole and flip that pole, and then what you do is do it at about 5 or 6, 7 different ways, and then come up with a good, happy average to where you know what that distance is. I compare it to, nobody gets the navigation system when they rent a car anymore, and nobody buys a Rand McNally map no more, because we always rely on Siri to tell us where we're going. So,
right.
Yeah, the technology is making it easier to where we don't judge yardages and we don't read a map anymore.
Well, we're going to make a classic comeback, so if you make me do that, Kurt, we're bringing it back old school. We're getting the basketball. I'm wearing the Larry Bird shorts. So there you go.
You don't have to, man. It's fine.
No, so
you don't have to do that. But, Bone, do you think that's something that you've kind of retained over the years, is kind of that skill to judge distance without a rangefinder? Do you find yourself getting rusty and you kind of have to refresh yourself? I know you shoot year-round and shoot a lot, but the art of judging distance is I guess I'll just let you take it away on that.
Yeah, actually, I think I still use it. I still, when I sit in the tree stand, I mean, just to help pass the time, I always judge, like say, hey, that tree's 23, and then I double check with my laser rangefinder when I'm in the yard. I try to visualize, like, what does 40 yards look like, rather than just like drawing the bow back and shooting at 40. I'm like, this is what 40 looks like, so you can always find your 20 and then double that number. So I'm always, taking in, to say that I'm as honed as I was back when I competed all the time. No, I don't. I'm not as tight as I was. But, I'm always looking and learning and just, trying to keep that in the back of my head so that you can always rely on that. Because you never know when that battery's going to die on the laser rangefinder, or the battery may die in that sight, or your iPhone may crash. You got to, that's part of being a survivor. You got to be able to survive. So,
right now, would you say for anybody who picked up on this and they say, yeah, I want to try that, would you suggest them, probably go in the woods and try and judge distance that way? So, when you're trying to judge 40 yards, like if you're standing in an open field and you look at an object that's 40 yards, that's one thing. But if you're in the woods and you look out there
from a tree stand
or something, and you got a bunch of stuff happening, would you suggest going in the woods, or do you find it really matters that much?
It definitely matters. All of the above. It plays with your depth of field, whether you're in a field, in a heavily lit field, shooting into the woods. The shadows play heavily with your depth perception. So by all means, you can have a big tree that you're looking right past the big tree. You can have a large target that makes it look closer than what it is. So everything affects your depth perception. Time of the day, cloudy day, bright day, in a field, in the deep woods, going from light to dark, dark to light, everything has an effect on your yardage. And then certainly when you get up in a tree, telemetry does play an effect on it too.
Yeah, that is interesting. That is a good point, Steve. Good job bringing that up. But I do notice that too when I guess. That's the first time I've ever said that.
Sorry, I was 200 episods in, and Kurt finally gives me a good job. Man, what a memorable episode. Sorry, didn't mean to derail this.
You're doing great. Way to ruin it now.
My bad.
Bone, do you ever think, man, maybe when you get sick and you probably won't ever get sick and tired of doing hunting shows and stuff like that, but is there any little thing in the back of your head that wants to get back into competitive archery? Like, do you think we'll see you on a 3D course or a spot target course of any type, anytime ever in the future?
I really do want to. I mean, I miss it big time. I mean, the camaraderie and the fellowship, and man, I did it for so many years, and and me and my son, we shoot probably 4 to 6, maybe 10 a year. But I travel so much on the weekends; it's just so hard to get to shoot at a tournament. There for a long time, I was at least shooting one big ASA tournament a year, even if just going out there and flinging arrows and just staying with it and seeing the old folks. I shot with Darren Christenberry for years, and Levi Morgan when he was like 14 years old. So, I do miss it. And, before long I'll be in the old man's class, so maybe I'll slide on in there and try the old man's class.
Who's your favorite competitive archer out there right now?
There's a lot of them. The one I respect the most is Levi. Because of all of his accomplishment, but overall, over the years, he doesn't compete anymore, but the one I've looked up to and has been kind of a mentor or someone that I really respected was Randy Ulmer. He's just such an accomplished bow hunter and archer, and his philosophies on, to how to execute a shot and everything. I've always tried to mimic that, and I always thought it was something that is easy to adapt to, so I've always liked Randy Ulmer, but Dan McCarthy, Levi Morgan. There's a lot of good shooters out there.
One thing I was told to ask you from a good friend of ours, and I hope you remember, maybe you don't. I think it was from SHOT Show. They want to know, it would be Chase from Rubline Marketing, wants to know, how was the lobster bisque?
Oh, man. Phenomenal. Probably the best. And he was licking his chops because I was eating the bisque. We was at dinner one night, and he's like giving me the chicken eye, wanting my bisque. I could tell, and I'm like, "You can order your own," but they brought it out. They brought the lobster meat separate from the roux or the soup. I've never seen that before. He hadn't either. So they put the meat on inside the bowl separately, and then they pour the soup over top of it so that you can see that you've got chunk lobster meat. So yeah, it was pretty cool presentation, and tastes equally as good.
So he said there was a big steak that came in after, and you were kind of like, "Dang it, why did I do that?"
Yeah, they pounded the steak, and I had, I think I had chicken risotto is what I had. So
I'm taking
good.
I take it you guys weren't at a buffet at a closed down next to the closed down Kmart. Is what I'm getting this vibe was where this place is at.
Nice establishment.
Yeah, we got an invite. The guys from Tacticam invited us to dinner, and Chase was with us. And we would have been at the Golden Corral for sure if it would have been on our dime. So
the Golden Corral is my favorite place because you can wear sweatpants in there, and you're not going to be the only person wearing them.
No, and then especially it's nice to turn your head upside down and suck off of that chocolate fountain they got too.
Dude, that is the greatest thing. Every time I go to Golden Corral, I try to make like a chicken nugget fort and then like I pour gravy all over it because it's like, who's gonna judge me here?
What are you, 6?
Yeah, what am I gonna get judged there? No, Golden Corral is the most American restaurant I've ever been into.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing.
Okay, I'm just
not
saying.
disagreeing. I'm with you.
I love that place.
Back to the show, T-Bone. It's so funny that we do this. With everything changing with outdoor television and outdoor shows and media, from people leaving like Dish Network or cable, where do you see Bone Collector in 5 years, and how do you feel that it's adapting to the on-demand mobile media style platform?
I think that we have been, we're looking at where everything is going. You gotta be able to roll with the ebbs and flows. We've got a really good following, and I don't mean this arrogantly. I mean, I say this like with gratitude and blessed, but we got a really good following on TV, so we have high ratings there. And you guys are all younger, and I know the younger generation watches a lot off of their devices and stuff like that. But we gotta remember, I say it's cliche, but Billy Joe Lunch Bucket. There's a lot of old timers out there that like to watch hunting shows that don't even have it. They got the old flip phone, so they're going to be watching it out there. So we can't just get caught up with the folks that we see at ATA or a SHOT Show. We got to remember that there are folks out there that are grinding a living, and then they got their TV and they put their fist down and told their wives, "Look, I'm paying $3 extra this month because we're getting the outdoor channel, and that's it, and that's all. By God, you just got to leave the lip gloss off this month because we're getting outdoors."
You can't buy another pair of shoes.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to be in all places. So fortunately, we're on My Outdoor TV, so you can watch every one of the last years, the first 8 or 9 years of Bone Collector. You can watch on My Outdoor TV, which is a digital streaming platform. We're on some on Carbon TV, as well as the Outdoor Channel, which is all the new episodes and such, Realtree Roadtrips and Bone Collector. We got a really strong social platform, and I think we're going to start doing more stuff there, having like re-edits to where we've got such a library. We've got 10 or 11 years, so we may do some re-edits because there's so much stuff. Every 30-minute episode that you see of, Bone Collectors probably has 20 hours of footage, and there's a lot that, it's a good episode, but there's a lot that gets left on the cutting room floor, so we can go back in there and do some re-edits and have a lot of stuff that'll be great content for social media too. But yeah, things are changing. I mean, I'm even seeing it myself. My son, he will not watch TV. I mean, he will not watch a TV show. He lives on his YouTube. I mean, it's like folks are living 3 to 5 to 10 minutes at a time, and that's all their attention span is. So, and I'm even getting tired. I'm in my late 40s, and I'm getting tired of TV shows and how many commercials there are and stuff. And I'm even thinking about just kind of dumbing it down and getting a smart TV to where you just have Netflix and, Hulu,
Carbon
Hulu
and all the necessities.
Sling TV is what you need, because you can get the outdoor channel where you guys are at.
It's a la carte TV.
It's a la carte TV. Yeah, get Sling TV. I got that, so I was able to watch your most recent whitetail hunt in Iowa, which we got 2 Iowa boys here, and they can't get it done on the first night like you did. But yeah, Sling TV is where you want to be for that.
Yeah.
Well,
so there's lots of things, and you just got to keep man, and I see so many, YouTube followers and people having YouTube channels and stuff like that. So, yeah, we got our eyes open. We've got a good guy in our office that does the social media platform. So we're trying to, I guess we're old dogs, so to speak, but luckily we've got some folks following us, and they like. I guess what we're preaching as far as the brotherhood, and everything doesn't hinge always like on killing the biggest deer. It's all about the fun and the camaraderie and stuff. So with all that, we've got a good following, and hopefully that bleeds over to whatever platform that we're a part of.
Definitely. Well, I got to say too, and I've told you this before, I'm sure, on other podcasts and in person when we've been together, and you guys are, in my opinion, as big as it gets in the outdoor industry. So many people look up to you guys because of how down to earth and humble, and just how willing you are to communicate with people that are fans of yours. And that's just such a refreshing thing to see. And I can remember back, I've been a diehard Realtree fan since I started hunting, since I was a little guy. I have almost every DVD, almost every Bone Collector, every Realtree Roadtrips, every Monster Bucks. And
he's wearing Realtree right now, actually.
But really, though, it's, you guys were my heroes growing up. Waddell's been my idol since I can remember. I have my first buck, I have a Realtree Roadtrips hat on back in the day. And, I remember it's crazy. The one that we're talking to here now, but you guys are like the Michael Jordans of the hunting industry. I always hate that analogy, but you guys really are. You're as big as it gets.
Yeah.
Just don't gamble like Michael Jordan did, all right? He lost a lot of money.
But just I'm trying to say, you guys are it, man. You guys are the epitome. So many logos are based off the Bone Collector logo, and people are trying to mimic what you guys do, and it just can't be duplicated because you guys are just so unique, and your chemistry is so unique, the three of you, and it's just cool to see how big it's gotten, and it's just cool that you're here on our podcast talking to us. It's just a really humbling thing.
Well, I appreciate the kind words, man. We're, and I've told you guys, sometimes I feel like a broken record, but we all come from humble beginnings too, and we realize that we're blessed, and we don't take it for granted at all. I mean, I figure that I'll be fletching arrows down there with old Michael Pitts and What It Do Archery here anytime soon, so I better enjoy it and make hay while it's sunshining, because you never know. I mean, we teaching ourselves. You never know when things are going to change, or it's been a blessed run for sure. So we're going to ride it as long as we can, and we appreciate all the kind words folks say. So we can't stand. When you see people, that are kind of snobby in the industry or what have you, and don't want to talk to people, and we always hate that people refer. We don't like the terminology of being a professional hunter. We are not professional hunters. We just happen to be outdoor entertainers, I guess you could say. We're not. Heck, half the people that we talk to at these events and stuff, they're better hunters than we are. We just happen to have a TV camera in our faces also. We're grounded as far as that goes. So
right,
it's really cool.
Hey, and I'm glad you brought that up, because we were kind of curious to ask. With the way that kind of social media and everything's happening, there's a lot of trends that are starting to go around in the industry. What trend currently that's going on right now do you not like so much, and then what's something that's happening right now that you really enjoy? I mean, if you want to talk about it.
Yeah, what trend am I liking right now?
Yeah,
yes,
well, I'm liking to see, one, we've got a Republican as president, so I'm liking to see the trend of politicians. Donald Trump Jr., we had a lot of good meetings out in Vegas. I'm liking to see that, those things are getting put into place there. It seems like, we don't need to let our foot off the gas by no means, but to celebrate hunting and to hopefully keep it climbing. Things that I'm not liking, it's been a trend, and I'm hoping it's changing, so I'm going to try to do this in a positive spin. Things that I'm not liking is our license sales are down 2 million from what they have been. So in the industry over the last 3 or 4 years, you hear a lot of the retailers, saying, golly, my business is off. You hear a lot of the big box stores, my business is off. We're off 20%. We're 30% off. A lot of people wanted to contribute that in the years past, that we had such warm winters. Can't really say that this year. We've had a pretty good cold winter.
Mm-hmm.
So they're saying the numbers are off. Well, they want to point fingers. It's because of the weather. It's because of this. It's because of that. Fact of the matter is if you take 2 million people less that are buying license, that's 2 million consumers. We should be going in the other direction.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It tells me that, through, like we talked about, people watching devices or what have you, our death rate is way bigger than our birth rate as far as hunters go. So everybody wants to preach, hey, take, hey, go hunt and have a happy, hunt or what have you, and we're celebrating it, I guess, as what we do as far as outdoors entertainers. But we all should it. If you're a licensed hunter, you should take someone hunting.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, like, you guys, if your neighbor's over there that does sheetrock for a living, he's never hunted, but he's seen you drag a deer in there and you're skinning it out, invite him hunting and welcome him to the world. Another thing we need to do is I think we need to dumb it down a little bit. A lot of times everybody's gotten so caught up in killing a monster deer, and it's got to be 6 years old or 7 years old before you can kill it.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get if that's what you want to do, but let's not preach that to, again, Billy.
10-year-old or even that.
Yeah.
A guy that he only gets to hunt 5 days a year. If he wants to go out there and kill a doe, let's celebrate that.
Absolutely.
I mean, don't make him feel like he's a horse's rear end if he does kill a 4-pointer, he does kill a 5-pointer.
Mm-hmm.
He went out there and he had fun. He bought a license. He bought products. He enjoyed hunting. He had a positive experience. He filled this freezer, and he's going to pass that on to someone else. We need to celebrate that. If it's legal and someone's doing it, we need to celebrate it. We don't need to make someone feel bad because they shot a 2-year-old. Look, if that guy only got 5 days to hunt, man, high five to him. If it was legal, shoot the fire out of that thing. That's what this God's renewable resources is for. So that's what I don't like. I don't like that there's a stigmatism that you got to kill a 5-year-old and you look down upon if you do kill one. By all means, if you are a Lee Lukoski or Don Kiske, or you have these fantastic farms, by all means, I think it's wonderful. I would do the same exact thing. But we need to make sure we celebrate everybody that buys a license,
mm-hmm.
as long as they're legal, and make it a positive, and make sure that you take someone hunting. I don't care no matter if you're on TV, not on TV, if you're a business owner or not. If you hunt and buy a license, I wish everybody would introduce someone else to hunting a year. We double our numbers. Think about that.
Well,
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, and that's awesome about Iowa. They just passed a law this year that if you are a licensed hunter, you can take someone out with you hunting without a license and introduce them to the outdoors.
That's pretty huge.
That is, Iowa has got their stuff together. I mean, honestly, because they protect their resources well. Iowa, of all the states I've hunted, they are so buttoned up. They've got their stuff together. They really do.
I've always said that Illinois needs to model everything they do after Iowa, and I'm still waiting. We talked to a state senator that's local to us that he comes in, does a couple podcasts.
Shout out Neil Anderson. I love that guy.
And I've said that almost every time in here. We just need to look what Iowa's doing and model everything we do, even our season dates, everything. Illinois could learn a lot from Iowa.
Our tax rates, everything.
Yeah, Missouri could do the same thing because, honestly, I believe, the Illinois, Missouri, they're all the same as Iowa. I mean, you could have the same stuff here. That northern part of Missouri is a fantastic a region, but because, you're allowed to kill, 2 or 3 bucks as a non-resident and it's over-the-counter tags, I mean, they're just, it's just not quite as good as it could be. And plus they have that rifle season, during the rut, so that really hurts things too. So
and Indiana just passed that too, so I feel like Indiana's going to take the herd a little bit as far as just kind of like what it could be. Like Iowa is just getting better and better. Where I just think that's what the conservation model should be out for all Midwestern states. It would be really awesome to see some changes in that direction.
Yeah, but again, if a guy, whether he's a resident or not, I would have loved to have, and I just wanted to do it just to shake things up just because we had that platform. As I told Michael, just kidding around, I said, you know what, I'm going to come up here to this Iowa. I've got this coveted tag, and I'm just going to throttle the first 3-pointer that comes by here.
That would be awesome.
Everybody's all would drop. I mean, just absolutely like, oh my gosh, I can't believe T-Bone had an archery Iowa tag and he throttles a 3-pointer. And, it would be talked about more than if I shot a 180, you know what?
It would.
Absolutely, it would be.
It would, but you'd still get a ton of respect for it and ways of appreciation rather than, I feel like more in appreciation rather than talking down to you.
Yeah, actually. But, there's a lot of folks that, the way they've set their careers up or the way that they couldn't get away with that. But we're real fortunate with that bone collector that our our shows don't hinge on killing a 180 or 190 every week. So,
yeah. And the cool thing was, obviously every time you guys go to Iowa, you hunt with Whitetail Properties, Gabe a deer.
Yep.
And it seems like every time. So the I don't know if I want to ruin the most recent Bone Collector episode, but you have some success, and the first thing you do is, like, after that success goes on, you take it to the deer processor, and then you sign that animal over to what Iowa has is the Hush program, and I wish Illinois would adopt
we
this
have
too.
a Hunters for Hungry type, almost same thing.
Yeah, and it, but it's not like as. I think Iowa does it a little bit better, but the fact that Illinois still does it. So talk about the Hush program a little bit.
Yeah, the Hush program is a fantastic program. It's Help Us Stop Hunger, and you take it to they're designated processors that are a part of the Hush program, and you just donate your deer. Basically, you sign it over, and they distribute it to people that are that are in need of a good high protein meal. So I forgot the numbers. I remembered it when we were up there, but it was amazing and how many deer were donated. I want to say several thousand that were donated last year just in Iowa alone to help provide meals. And each deer provides basically 100 and something meals. So there's a lot of meals provided for folks that are in need in the great state of Iowa. So it's a wonderful program.
Yeah, me and Eric donate probably 2-3 deer a year there.
Yep, and I've even a lot of people know me in the community as being a hunter, so if they hit a deer with a car or something, they'll call me, and if I don't need the meat, I'll at least get the extra tag and be like, okay, I'll take the tag and then take it to a processor and donate it to the Hush program.
Yep, yeah, it's great, and most every state has got something like that. We have Hunters for the Hungry down here in Georgia too, and then I don't think they did it this year, but something that they did is they take the prisoners and they have a mobile process in place. So they'll put the dates online, and they'll put the dates that they're going to do it. They'll have like 6 or 7 or 8 stops around the state, and they'll be in your region, and they'll say for 2 days here we've got this mobile cooler, and you can drop it. And then what it is it feeds the prisoners. The prisoners do all the processing, and they make the meat to feed for the prisoners. So that's something that the state doesn't have the burden of having to pay for the meal. So that's another good way.
That's amazing.
Cutting the backstrap off here, boss. Getting some tenderloins, boss.
Yep, exactly. Shaking the bush, boss.
Okay, so anybody there? Well, if anyone get that reference, I will applaud you.
I don't get it, but I respect it because T-Bone got it too.
All right, T-Bone got it.
It's just cool. Yeah. I'd rather see meat utilized from wild game in one way rather than sitting there on the side of the road and just going to rot. So any way that it's utilized in a positive or if it's consumed in a good way, it's refreshing to see.
Yep, I'll tell you all a funny story about that. I fly so much, so I pull up at the Atlanta airport, and they have a parking lot. It's the Atlanta parking ride. So there's a shuttle. So you pull up, you park, and there's a shuttle bus, and you jump on the shuttle bus. And years ago, it's probably been about 4 or 5 years ago, I pull up, and there's a black man. He's driving it, and he's probably 70, I'd say, maybe a little older than that, early 70s. And I go to get on, and he looks at me, and he goes, T-Bone. And, you don't expect a black man to recognize you or whatever. And he said,
right.
He said, T-Bone. And I said, yeah. He goes, I've been watching them shows, man. I know who you is. So I jumped on the bus and become really good friends with him. I'd see him occasionally. He'd pick me up or drop me off or whatever. I had a really good. He goes, man. He goes, I'm a rabbit hunter from way back. He goes, man, I like watching them shows, and we talk, and he's just the friendliest guy ever was. And I said, would you like some? His name's Jimmy, but I call him Mr. Jimmy. I said, Mr. Jimmy, would you like some deer meat? Oh, T-Bone, man, I would love that. So every year now, since then, for the last 5 years, I always kill him a deer, I have it processed, and take it up there to him. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, man, he texts me about at 70-something years old, and he'll text me like about once a week, just checking in, and man, just the nicest guy. Man, I'm telling you, he's so nice.
That's awesome.
And now I showed him pictures of killed some big hogs last year. Actually, me and Pitts did a thermal imaging hunt last year, for hogs, and I showed him some pictures. He goes, man, I'd love to have some wild pork, man. That'd be good. So, so we're on our buddy's got a place in South Georgia that's got some hogs, so we're going to get Mr. Jimmy a hog here for long and have it all butchered up for him.
That's
so
gonna be awesome.
That's amazing,
dude. At like 70 years old, does he send emojis, or is he kind of not hip to that?
No, it's just the bare minimum, man. You get some. You just put, how are you doing, Bone? That's about it.
Okay, because you start texting people that old, either you're gonna get with like 3 letters, or you're gonna get like everybody that has the proper punctuation everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's
but
cool, man.
no, he goes, man, I don't want to bug you, but no, he's a great guy, man. It's always a pleasure to see him, and I said I've gotten to be friends with a lot of the shuttle drivers up there, so it just tells you that you're away from home too much. But they always give me fits. All the other drivers said, man, you got to spread that love around and bring some deer to us.
Hey, I want to ask you real quick. Don't want to dive too deep into it, but I saw a show about it's called like Suburban Deer Hunter, and they hunt deer in like the suburbs of Atlanta. Have you seen this?
Oh yeah, I'm good friends with those guys. Yeah,
okay. Yeah, it's on Carbon TV. I love that show.
A great show,
and that is wild to me. It's like, they're hunting. I'm like, hey, that's where the Walking Dead's supposed to be. They're just monster deer.
Yeah, actually, Walking Dead's filmed right here where we're at. My wife she's kind of a Walking Dead stalker. She'll get off from work and go walk and go visit where they're filming and stuff like that. It's filmed right here.
Really?
Not 15 miles from our house.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't even watch the show. I'm not a fan of it at all. But my wife, she's nutso over it. I got her Norman Reedus to autograph something for her, and I think that's the best gift I ever got her.
Oh, there you go. Not your child or anything. Yeah, just that the guy who shoots the crossbow.
Yeah. But at the up in Atlanta, some of the biggest deer, if you look at the record book, some of the biggest deer here as of the last 10 years are being killed right there on the Chattahoochee River system that runs right through Atlanta. So, they just learned to adapt. Lee and Drew and the other guys, they all have just adapt to be honest. It would seem easier at first, but I think it's way harder just because there's so many other things to have to contend with than just hunting the deer.
Right. There's so many other factors that play in.
Yeah, because the Chattahoochee gets hotter than the Hoochie Coochie.
Yeah.
is what I've heard.
Yeah, that's the biggest factor. Thanks for that,
that's
Steve.
Right. But,
sorry.
No, and they got other people hunting them, and just cars and anti-hunters, and there's a lot of hurdles there. So I don't know that I'd even want to attempt that. So hats off to them. I told them, you guys are doing a fantastic job. I don't know if you can keep that up because how much if that resource is going to get depleted, especially with more and more and more people once they're shining a little light on it.
Yeah, it's sad, but it's cool. Steve's been harping me to watch that show, and I haven't done it yet. But I
it's awesome.
Need to get on there. Good buddy Mark Land. I know you guys know him from Muzzy. He told me that you guys got to get these guys on the show, man. So I've been chatting with him about it a little bit as well.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. They're good guys.
Well, some of my favorite Bone Collector episodes, you've done them, I think it was like 5, 6, and 7, where you guys were hunting in Pennsylvania, just, in the suburbs. It was pretty similar, and I guess it's interesting to see, you're sitting there in the back of someone's
neighbors cooking hamburgers on the grill, and
you're just smoking does.
Look at that big old deer.
Yeah, well, and that was my idea to do that show, and and the reason why is because there's so many hunters in Pennsylvania and New Jersey and New York, and when we do shows up that way, we see so many hunters at those shows, like the Harrisburg show's going on right now, and it's the largest hunting expo in the country, and there's so many people come through there. Well, you guys are from Iowa and Illinois, and the Midwest is the mecca. It's where everybody wants to go, but fact of the matter is once again, Billy Joe Lunchbucket, he can't afford to go to the Midwest. They all want to at some point, and they love watching the shows. But I said, let's do a show where there's so many hunters, And this is the way these guys are having to scratch their itch. This is the way, let's celebrate how these guys have to do it. And that's the way they have to do it. So it's one of our most talked about episodes, actually. We get a lot of
They're some of my favorite as well.
Yeah, because it's, it's just the way they have to do it. We're talking about doing a Florida episode where we run dogs, because they dog hunt down there just like rabbit hunting, but you do it in Florida with dogs. So we're talking about doing an episode like that, just kind of,
change it
you
up.
guys probably Midwest don't even realize that's the way they hunt deer down in Florida, but that's the way they do. So we're talking about going to Key West and shooting some of those Key West deer. Their season starts like in July, so
it's amazing.
It's insane.
But we're talking about doing some different things, just to kind of shake it up a little bit. Not to stand. I mean, don't get me wrong. We all love Kansas, Iowa. That's always going to be the bread and butter. But no matter where you're from, you like to celebrate the way you have to scratch your itch, and that's you do as you do.
Yeah,
Murphy
right.
is relative where you're hunting.
Our buddy Walter is actually going to be happy. He has a podcast, Chasing Tails podcast. He's from Florida, and he's going to be happy that someone's actually talking positive about Florida deer for once.
Oh yeah, they're tiny. I've had black labs bigger than some of their deer.
Well, transitioning to that, like doing different hunts, out of all the hunts that you've had, are there any that you wish you could have a second chance at?
Well, I think Steve said he's seen the episode this year. I wished I had to eat a Kansas tag, and I hit a barbed wire fence shooting at a big buck in Kansas this year. I wished I could do that one over again. But
well, going from that, sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, is that what you're meaning? Like
yeah,
one particular.
Yeah, like a second chance. Is there something you did wrong? You wish you could have done it different, or another shot at a buck, or whatever it may be.
Oh yeah, there's. I mean, I got a whole bag full of them. But I've had two big heartbreaks in Kansas over the years. So, but I love Kansas, but two of my biggest heartbreaks are from Kansas. But there's a bunch of them. There's hindsight's always 20/20 for all of us.
What's out of all of them? I mean, this is going to be tough, I'm sure. But one that sticks out to you in your mind. What's one that you're the most proud of?
Of a hunt?
Yeah, of a hunt, or just something you've done for the show. More specifically, like a hunt.
Yeah, show related. I'm proud that we went to the Northeast and hunted. That's one thing. But I guess if you had to nail it down to one hunt, it's the first year of Bone Collector. I drew the Iowa tag. I drew the tag before we even started Bone Collector, meaning like I was going to go whether we filmed it or not, because I'd been putting in for 4 years for this tag. This was in 2008. We went up there, whitetail property. Well, actually, I went up there the first week of season, hunted with Lee and Tiffany for 5 or 6 days, didn't see a deer to shoot. And that can be a tough time, when you go the first week of October. So I said, you know what, it took me a long time to get this tag. I'm devoting a lot of time. So I went back like the last week of October and didn't have a camera guy. So Nick agreed to come down and film me. Nick was a camera guy, if y'all remember.
Mm-hmm.
He came to film me. We're just getting our legs under us as far as trying to gather footage for Bone Collector. Gabe Adair, he just gave us some property. No one's ever hunted this. It was in Unit 6, so it's not where he lives. He lives in Unit 5, so we were over in 6, which was near Lee and Tiffany. And he had a couple of farms, and he just said, guys, I don't know much about it. Here it is. We threw up some trail cameras. We threw up a few stands. We scouted it, hung all the stands, and then went back in there, and it was just textbook. I mean, it was right at the free rut. We seen a buck down in these bottoms, rattled, grunted. Big buck come up, and he kind of lost interest, so I snort wheezed and brought him back. And it ended up being the biggest buck I've killed so far, still. And then just the emotional of, hey, this is our first year Bone Collector. It took me 4 years to draw this tag. I had never killed a buck over 150 with my bow ever, and it was my first buck over 150. Scored 162, and Nick was filming me. It was just like the pride. Everything pride factor was there. It was a big mature deer. We hung the stands. It wasn't like going to an outfitter and they said sit here and here's a We did all the scouting ourselves. It was all, do it yourself. So all these little things just added up as far as the pride factor. And I shed a tear in the stand. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm proud of it. I shed a little tear there.
I cried a lot this year.
Yeah. So that probably sticks out as one of the most memorable hunts.
Yeah, for good reason. I can see that, man. That's a cool story. It's was almost like a meant to be the way it all piled together. It sounds like.
Yeah, it was. It was a good hunt. Actually, I don't know why. We seen it somewhere the other day, and like you think all these hunts would be just like you'd remember every one of them, but man, that's been 11 years ago. So
man,
that's crazy.
I need to get some of these DVDs and look at some of these old hunts and just kind of reminisce.
Wait, how old is your son again?
He's 12.
Oh, okay. All right. I was kind of wondering how long that celebration lasted.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, actually, I will say this: the conception on that, I just got back from a hunt from Realtree Roadtrips, and I think me and the wife was celebrating coming home from Texas on a hunt in December, and wham bam, there's old Archer, my son Archer, in about 9 months.
Celebration time.
No, there you go. Because that meme's going around, it's like, hey, in 9 months you could be hunting big bucks in, November. Be careful what you do February 14th.
Yeah. I've seen, yeah.
It's real. It is real. Well, going back, to the beginning, what reaction did you have, or what did you think the first time you saw yourself on like a Realtree DVD or on a major outdoor network? Do you remember that, seeing yourself on TV or anything like that?
Yeah, I shot competitively all through the 90s, and I owned my own store, and then started doing stuff for the Realtree guys, and then they'd asked me to be a part, back in the T-Bone days, and I guess that's the first time I was on a DVD, and it was kind of surreal. I was like, man, I never thought that this would, way back when, I wanted to do something in the outdoor industries. In the early 90s, I got a 2-year degree as an HVAC technician. I never actually worked on that at all. I worked for Mercedes-Benz, and I just said, you know what, I love competing in archery, and I love working on bows. I'm going to try this while I don't have any responsibilities, and I'm going to try to make a living in the outdoor industry. I had no aspirations of being on TV at all. I just wanted to fletch arrows and work on bows and tell hunting stories, and just wherever it went. And then when this happened, I thought, well, here's my 15 minutes of fame. I get to play a sidekick with Jeff Foxworthy, and man, that's fun. I can say I did that. I thought that's as far as it was going to go. But watching the DVD and then Realtree all of a sudden just kind of swooped me up and sending me to grand openings at Bass Pro Shops. I was walking in the back doors looking like T-Bone and coming out and doing meet and greets like Barney and stuff like that as T-Bone. So I was like, golly, I can't believe folks are gravitating and really enjoying this, kind of comic relief in the hunting industry. So yeah, it kind of, I just figured it was going to be a one and done type thing, but I was proud of it, and I guess we just kind of maximized the opportunity, and then, well, here it is 18 years later, we're still doing it.
It's crazy because we talked a little bit before the show. Last night on Sportsman's Channel, I was watching, and they were talking about on Monster Bucks, the introduction of T-Bone, and it showed how you got pulled on. It showed you killing that doe with Sadie in the stand. You missed the little one and then shot the big one. She ran right in the back of the truck, and you said, I'm trying to remember exactly what your quote was. Quarter and two.
Week. Make sure she's towards the truck.
Yes, and that's like the best thing ever. I'm like, that is so funny. And I remember watching the DVDs with all that in hunting camp when I was younger, and my dad rolling backwards in his chair laughing, and our buddy Jim Burns and everyone we shared hunting camp just laughing their asses off at that.
It was just refreshing to see something new like that.
It was brand new to the hunting industry.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It still is.
Just kind of, well, I mean, with the Monster Bucks DVDs, they always had, it was just, 40-something hunts, which is not a bad thing at all, but, they started putting the archery tournament there to kind of break up the monotony, and it seemed
I love that.
Yeah, the kids and the wives, and it's something to watch at hunting camp, and the guys get together on a Friday or Saturday night and it just kind of broke it up. It was like a little bit of a soap opera to go along with all the hunts. So, it was so blessed and so thankful that people really loved that. So.
Something that I always think about, Bone, and I don't know if you could make this happen or even if it would be possible.
Here we go. All right.
This is like, to me, this is the equivalent of like Conor McGregor versus Mayweather type situation.
Okay, here we go.
Well, hear me out, though. How cool would it be to have a big 3D shoot style, just like they used to do on the Realtree videos? And you guys kind of did this with the pop-up targets with Lee and Tiffany, the Seance Relus, you guys, to do a big, like, celebrity filmed, like, pop-up tournament or something like that where everyone, all the big personalities in the industry shoot against each other and it's filmed and made into a DVD. And I don't know, maybe that's just fun to me because I grew up watching everyone.
The hell is a DVD?
Well, I buy DVDs still. Anywhere it could be, but I just think that would be so much fun to watch everyone cutting up and shooting against each other. Just like a hunting celebrity. I know that's, you might hate that word, but archery tournament or 3D tournament type situation.
Yeah, we actually, some of the expos we go to, there's one in Wisconsin that we've done in the past where they always have a... Yeah, we've done it there. I've shot there several years, and then last year we had a Realtree Summit when they were telling us about, this was in May, and they had every Realtree pro staffer from across the country was there, and there was probably 60 or 80 of us, and we had a tournament.
Josh and Kristen McDaniel were there.
Yeah.
Yes, it was in like a big pop-up, like a circus tent.
Yep, that's right. So, and I know they did film some of that. I don't know wherever that footage.
Well, it sounds like I just need to go and be a fanboy.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. But we had a good time doing that. Actually,
who won that?
Like Nick won it, and then Chris Ashley got second, and then I was third.
That's awesome. Wait, running the show.
Man.
Yeah, Nick was shooting lights out, man. I'm telling you, he couldn't miss that day, I'm telling you.
Damn, well, I love that.
Well,
he let us know it too, boy. He posted his check. Yeah.
I bet.
I bet. That's Nick for you, ain't it?
Well, hey, tell you what.
Nick.
Well, speaking of lights out, we're going to do some rapid fire questions. You know the drill.
Well,
you've been through this.
It's more of a rapid fire / random question segment, if that's cool with you.
Okay.
So, one question is, hoodie or a vest?
Oh, man, I like them both. That's hard. Probably hoodie.
Right.
So this is a hard transition to this segment, I feel like, but I feel like it.
We had to get into it. We'll soften it up. Favorite pro wrestler?
Andre the Giant. No, Goldberg.
Goldberg. You don't like Gilbert?
Yeah, Gilbert.
Okay, you remember Gilbert, all right. If we don't need to explain anymore.
Yeah.
Wisconsin cheese or Iowa pork?
Wisconsin cheese.
Nice. Okay, this is a would you rather. Would you rather not eat cheese for the rest of your life or not wear socks?
Not wear socks.
Really?
I don't know. I'm torn on that one.
That's a tough one.
Okay, if you had to share, go ahead, T-Bone.
I said, yeah, that is a tough one there. I like my socks now. I even wear socks with Crocs, man.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Hey, socks with Crocs or Crocs without socks?
Crocs with socks, always.
Damn right.
You and Eric, man.
I always just think about that. Would you rather? It's like your feet will just get tough and you won't notice anymore. But cheese is good on everything, so I'd just rather have cheese the rest of my life. You know?
Right. That's exactly right.
Okay, if you had to share a sleeping bag with someone, would you rather share it with Nick or Michael?
Probably Nick. He's smaller.
Hey, would you rather shoot a random coyote or finally kill that fly that's been flying around for like the past hour?
Fly.
Yeah,
that's a very satisfying feeling.
Man, I'm telling you, I've had some moments with some. You ever get one of those brave flies that just like you can't even swat him away? He just keeps coming back. I mean, I've threatened to get my shotgun several times.
Wham. Okay, this one's, we know it's painful for you to do our podcast. We figured we'd ask this question here. Would you rather do the Working Class Bowhunter podcast or get a root canal?
Root canal.
Yeah.
Man, he was right off the. He's like, man, I'd rather do that.
Us too, man. Us too. We're 200 deep. It's painful. Okay, this is a stretch, but we figured
hey, speaking of teeth, would you rather have to have braces in your adult life or put a Working Class Bowhunter sticker in your truck?
I'll take the sticker. I've already had braces. I don't want to go through that.
I'm glad we're less embarrassing than braces.
Yeah, that is good. This one's a stretch, but we got to ask it. What is your favorite conspiracy theory, if you even believe in them or anything like that?
Oh, I hope so.
What's a conspiracy theory?
Dude, that's the best conspiracy theory right there. Are there conspiracy theories?
Yeah.
Okay, I was hoping it would be something wild, like you just...
No, he's paid off by the Illuminati.
I'm a big conspiracy theorist, so we had to ask.
You mean like the grassy knoll type thing?
Yeah, okay, here we go. Yeah, let's indulge us.
Yeah. Now, I don't know how to answer that, guys. I'm speechless on that one. I guess I'm not a big conspiracy theorist.
Well, yeah, it's like people either are or they aren't. I'm a sucker for them.
I'm not.
I love the idea of them, and so I always joke about them. I joke about them more that I believe in them than I actually believe in them.
Yeah.
But it's...
Well, I'll find out here. Hey, T-Bone, we landed on the moon. True or false?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting ready to talk about. Meaning, like, for years I've always thought that, but now I'm scratching my head. I'm like, you know, like, if we did that back then, why ain't we been back? Or, like, why don't we even celebrate that anymore? I mean, have they done everything they needed once we was there the one time? I'm like, was that just fake just to kind of...
Right.
You know, I don't know.
Oh, dude, we're starting to get some feedback.
I think
is it the Illuminati?
I think so. No,
I'm checking in.
I do wonder that. Or there's so many... there's some conspiracy theories that I don't even want to mention because they're kind of dirty. But, like...
They're dirty.
There's just so many. There's a conspiracy theory for just about everything nowadays where they're ridiculous. Like,
what about...
Go ahead.
Let's hear it.
Tupac or Biggie? What about that?
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a good one right there.
See, that's one. There's...
All right, favorite rapper, Tupac or Biggie?
Neither one of them.
You're not East Coast or West Coast. You're a Too Short fan, aren't you?
I'm a Nelly. I'm from the Lou.
You're Nelly, St. Louis, Missouri. All right. Country grammar is all T-Bone speaks.
My wife just became your best friend because every time Nelly comes on at random on Pandora, she's like too pumped about it. I'm like, why Nelly? I don't get it, but
because she's going down, down, baby, no street in the rain, street sweeper, baby, hot, ready to let it go. I don't know.
I'm a
Are you really that big of a Nelly fan?
Yeah, I like Nelly pretty good.
Oh my God, I love you.
Yeah, Justin Timberlake mainly though, man. I mean, I'm a huge Justin Timberlake fan. I probably lose a lot of fans by saying that, but hey, it is what it is. I like JT.
No, I get that. I respect that. I like Miley Cyrus, and people probably hate me for that.
She handles business.
I listen to everything,
kinda.
man, so I understand it.
Yeah, I listen to everything.
All right, one more question, and Steve had one earlier. What was it? The country music one. It was.
Oh yeah, all right. Here you go. This is a country music one for you. Sammy Kershaw or Joe Diffie?
Joe Diffie.
Oh yeah.
Man, dude, imagine a Joe Diffie and Nelly collaboration. Dude, it'd be like John Deere green as the St. Louis Arch under a fall moon night. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, Joe Diffie.
That was a stretch.
Yep, there's just something women like about a pickup man.
That's right. That's right.
The classics. Well, I think we should close it at Joe Diffie.
We hunted with Lori Morgan years back, and we heard quite a bit about Sammy Kershaw. So, yeah, I'm a Joe Diffie fan.
Oh, he really lives in a double wide. He's looking for a queen.
Well, I think we should close it on Joe Diffie because that would be the classiest way to close out episode 200.
Oh, yeah.
Can we listen to Third Rock from the Sun since we might not be the only planet near the sun?
Okay.
Conspiracy theory.
T-Bone, thank you so much for doing the podcast again, man. Thanks for everything you've done for us. We look up to you, and we just appreciate the heck out of you.
No, you guys, too. Much respect, guys. I posted. We had talked about it behind the scenes, but I posted. I'm proud of my little working class bow hunter trophy, man, that y'all gave me. So I was honored by that. It means a lot. So I got it up there on the shelf right there beside a couple of the golden mooses.
That's awesome, man. That
you
is
earned
awesome.
it.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, we had nothing to do with that. That was the
fans.
The fans that listen to this. So thank you, fans, for listening and always respecting what we do and putting T-Bone up on that. Like you legitimately won that. Like we didn't fix that or anything. That's not a conspiracy
I
theory.
Appreciate it, man. Y'all are doing a fantastic job. Y'all are the voice of the working class bow hunter. I like the name of the podcast. I told y'all that from the word go, and it's very entertaining. Y'all are hitting all the notes and everything. So just keep up the good work, make it entertaining, and just celebrate hunting in general. So just keep doing it, and remember, just tell everybody every week. Just say, take somebody that is halfway a little bit interested in hunting. Go get them a license, take them out there. Let's double them numbers.
Definitely. Well, we will do a better job at that, and I think all of us could do a better job at that, everyone listening as well.
Yep.
And we close out every podcast with Go Shoot Your Bow, and that's the end. And since it's episode 200, I'd like you to close it out with Go Shoot Your Bow for us.
All right, guys, everybody out there listening, working class bow hunter, go shoot your bow.
We love you.